the Super Speedway.
Welcome to episode 269 of the Super Speedway podcast, recorded Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. And James, I already did it once. I'm not doing it a third time, so we're sticking with that.
Hey, man, it's your role is to get the podcast off the ground. I just clear out. So however many takes you need, you just let me know.
That's gonna be it. That is it. No more.
All right, we are professional. We are a professional podcast. So
2 takes is too
here
many.
we are. 1 take is too many if you ask some people. But
Sometimes,
that's not us. That's not us. How's it going, man?
It's going. It's going. I'm alive and I'm here, so that's all good. I'm over the COVID hill. That's nice.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, it's crazy days, man. But we're sneaking this one in tonight. So
yeah.
I'm glad we're able to get it in at normal day of the week. It's just been hectic. So
yeah, for the people listening, it just seems like a normal week. But for us, it's like this is it, man. If we didn't get it in tonight,
yeah,
we weren't getting it in.
Yep. This is it. Yeah, there's yeah. I mean, basically, it's a rain out on both sides of today, so we're squeaking this one in. We're just trying to get to halfway tonight. That's it.
Yeah. I probably could have pulled tomorrow night off, but it would have been late. But we're here.
Oh man,
we're here.
Yeah. That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah. One person that wishes that things would have ended a little earlier this week, probably Kyle Larson, right, James?
Yeah, he probably would have liked it to stay green for just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting. I thought it was an interesting caution call there, but after sitting on it for a couple of days, I think NASCAR made the right decision.
So I think the problem that you run into in that situation is that, yes, they were really quick to the yellow, and it worked out because I like you said, I think that it was a necessary caution, but they don't have time when they're coming off of, through turns 3 and 4 to contemplate whether it's an appropriate caution or not. They see something and it's either we throw it now or we're going to end the race under caution. And so I personally kind of side with NASCAR on that one. Of course, I like a good green flag finish anyway. And I'm all right with especially a race like that one. I'm all right with a green, white, checker.
I was just going to say that one was just a let's get this bad boy in type of race. It was, I mean, drivers kept it clean. I think it was William Byron who was saying, our race winner, we should probably mention that.
Yeah, right.
But he was saying that with the colder temps that the cars were just kind of glued to the track and unfortunately, the next gen car really likes cold temperatures and likes to run fast and it's not as hard to drive. So I think that probably played a little bit of a role in what we saw on Sunday. I'm hoping that's not a trend for us. What could be a trend, Hendrick Motorsports looks wicked fast. All their cars were good, other than we'll get to Josh Berry probably at some point. But top 3 for all Hendrick cars. That was a banner day for Hendrick Motorsports. They got to be liking what they're seeing at Team Chevy right now.
Yeah, nothing to complain about there, that's for sure. And it was kind of a weird weekend at Vegas because we started with the truck race on Friday, and it was a freaking demolition derby. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, let's just run green for a while. And then they just went green, and then we were green the rest of the weekend for the most part. Even the Xfinity race had a couple moments, but for the most part, we had a long green flag run there to end the race. So
yeah, I had somebody telling me about how much better F1 is than NASCAR, and I said, well, today's NASCAR race looks just like an F1 race if you like that. You got one team dominating the entire race with no cautions. So right. I don't know what you're complaining about. It looks the same to me. So yeah, that was a butt kicking. William Byron. I think my reverse jinx is already starting to pay off.
It's funny because Byron dominated this race, but he didn't deserve to win it because Larson was there at the end. But exactly. 176 laps led. That's certainly, I mean, you would, if you looked at the stats and didn't know what happened, you'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, 3 guys were in double digits. You had 176 for Byron, 63 for Larson, and then 10 for Hamlin. Somehow Hamlin got to 10 laps led on the day. But that was, I don't know if that was William Byron's best race he's ever run, but it's up there. That was, I know he got the late caution and things played out for him the way they needed to on that last restart, but it's tough to say the wrong guy won the race, even though he got the circumstances that he needed to.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly not one that I know Kyle Larson probably feels differently, but William Byron didn't steal that race win.
No, Kyle Larson definitely. I think he alluded to this a little bit, but when he gets the late caution, it always fails for him.
Yeah.
And then, his team, which has always been excellent on pit road with that 5 car, just barely got beat by Byron. I think if they win the race off pit road, I think that was the race.
Yeah, that's the difference right there.
For sure. Other than Truex kind of being up there,
yeah,
messing things up with his gamble on no tires, but yeah, the way the field staggered out, it was all Byron there at the end to take it.
Truex still got a 7th place finish out of it, so not bad. He got some extra points.
Well, did you see that they were trying to get the right rear tire off the car after the race and it was stuck?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so they, regardless of what you think about them making the call, it was the right call because they wouldn't have gotten the tire off on pit road. So, so yeah, that was I guess a blessing in disguise because that 7th could have been a 27th if he had been stuck on pit road not being able to change the tire.
No kidding, that would have been rough for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot really to discuss with this race because really it was so much of those two guys up front throughout the day.
Yeah.
It was not a very exciting Las Vegas race. I'm not going to stand here and complain about it though because we're going to have those. It happens.
Yeah, it happens once in a while. It's no big deal.
It's disappointing because this was one of the better races last year, but they've learned a lot more about the cars. And you mentioned the weather was a big issue, so.
Yep.
I'd rather have a boring race than sit and wait till Monday because of rain. So
exactly,
I'm good with this.
Yeah.
I guess the other big storyline out of the weekend came on Thursday or Friday morning when we found out that Chase Elliott is out indefinitely with a leg injury.
Yep.
After breaking his tibia, snowboarding.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, that was. I messaged our group chat as soon as I saw it. I was like, oh, I don't know if everybody knows this is starting to come out, but I saw on Twitter that there was an announcement, like, you know how this happens on Twitter where somebody will know something but won't say it. I had saw that something was going on, but I kind of brushed it off, and I should have stayed on Twitter a little bit longer because I don't think it was much longer after I had seen that something was coming up with the 9 team that Chase Elliott actually broke his leg.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. Especially when they've got fast race cars like they do.
Well,
he's going to be wanting to be in the seat.
Bummer for everybody all around. I mean, it's a bummer for Chase. Obviously, you've got a perennial Cup Series championship contender now that's out indefinitely. And I mean, James, you requested before the podcast that we didn't discuss waivers, but
I don't want to.
Chase is going to get a waiver, and he'll likely get a win when he comes back, and he's going to be in the playoffs. So, I mean, in that respect, it doesn't mean that much, but you're talking a team that now is learning a new driver instead of working with Chase to get better throughout the season. You've got a sponsor in Napa that now has a driver that, is a top 25 driver versus a top 5 driver.
Yeah.
Nothing against Josh Berry, but it was his first time in the car last weekend.
Yeah.
And it's a crappy situation for everybody, honestly. And it's a bummer for Chase. I know a lot of people throwing a fit because he did it not racing, and
I don't care about that, man.
Yeah, the thing is the precedent's been set. He gets a waiver. It's done. I mean, there's nothing to discuss here, and anybody who thinks that their NASCAR is going to do anything differently is crazy. I mean, and Elton Sawyer said it today on Sirius that there's no reason to believe he won't get a waiver. And there's just not a conversation there to be had.
I mean.
When Tony Stewart got a waiver, I mean, that set this in motion, and I'm fine with that. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, and Jeff Gluck said on his podcast, he goes, if Chase has to sit out until Daytona and he wins that race, don't give him a waiver. That's probably the only circumstance. But this is a 6 week. They expect him to be out 6 weeks.
Yeah.
He'll come back and he'll be fast. I expect him to still probably make the playoffs. I do think though, Eric, he can't win the championship now. I am pretty confident that that's not going to happen. And if you want to mark this for when he does win the championship, that's fine. But
just for the record, Kyle Busch just entered the chat.
I know, but here's why I want to emphasize on this just a little bit. Kyle Busch won that championship in a different points situation. We have seen Chase Elliott rack up a ton of playoff points and rely on them, and he's just not going to be able to get them.
Yeah.
At the rate that he did. I do think he'll, obviously he can win his way through, but he's missing out on a ton of opportunity to score points here, especially with these fast race cars.
Well, and you just said it right there. It's the fast race cars that might give him a chance to be in the Final Four.
Yes.
Because if the race car is good enough, Chase isn't going to forget how to drive in 6 weeks.
That's right.
If the car is good enough, they'll be able to win their way through the playoffs and get to the Final Four.
Sure.
Honestly, if you give me a list of guys that could potentially do it, Chase is pretty damn high on that list.
Yeah.
Chase is a guy who's racked off multiple wins each season. He's
right.
Honestly, I would pick Chase to win his. In this exact situation, I would pick Chase to make the Final Four over Kyle Busch to make the Final Four.
That's pretty funny. Yeah.
When Kyle Busch has done it before.
Yeah.
Sure. So, I mean, it's just the way it is, and especially with the Hendrick cars right now, the way they are. But I mean, again, we're 3 races into the season. We're 2 races into the part of the season that actually matters. Yeah. We don't know yet what it's going to look like 5 weeks down the road or 6 weeks down the road when he comes back. So
exactly, and it's tough too because Hendrick looks great right now. Who's to say that some other teams don't hit on something and there's maybe less opportunity for him later in the season. You see Byron on Sunday able to capitalize a full points day, 7 points, 7 playoff points, won both stages. That is how you, and Eric, we've seen this a bunch now with this format. That's how you get yourself through the playoffs, is you build up playoff points throughout the season, and it really can help you. And nobody's benefited more than that than I think Chase Elliott, even last year, and Martin Truex Jr. has had a nice run with playoff points too. I just think they're so important for some of these teams now that if you do have a bad day, you have something to bank on, and Chase is not going to have that much cushion now. So that's where they're probably going to have a little bit of struggle. But again, like you said, Eric, I think we're in agreement there. Fast race cars, can heal a lot of problems, and hopefully in this situation, Chase can get himself into the playoffs and be part of the conversation when it matters most.
Yeah. If nothing else, it opens up Circuit of the Americas for somebody else to win potentially.
Sure. Yeah. Yep. Another Hendrick car, perhaps.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Or Chastain could sneak into another one.
Or
Allmendinger will be there too, but
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Dinger will. Yep. Absolutely.
So Josh Berry was tapped to fill the seat last weekend, largely because of his size, ability to fit in the car well. It really sounded this week like they were going to go a different direction going forward, but then it was announced today that Josh Berry is going to continue to drive that car on the oval races. Jordan Taylor will race it at Circuit of the Americas. But otherwise, Josh Berry's the guy, which it's kind of amazing to think that here's Josh Berry, who could just barely get an Xfinity chance with being pushed by Dale Jr.
Yeah.
And now he's the Hendrick fill-in guy. That goes, I mean, he raced for a championship last year, so it's not surprising, but just incredible turn of events for Josh Berry. I'm curious, James, what you think about that move. I know there's a big push on social to borrow Corey LaJoie from Spire and put him in this car.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to see Corey LaJoie get a chance in some top-notch equipment, but what do you think of Josh Berry in this ride?
I like it for Josh Berry. Dale Jr. was hinting at this is a nice tryout for him for possibly for Spire next year,
or possibly for a Dale, a Junior Motorsports entry.
Exactly. Yeah, he'd be a nice solid driver.
If you were at Junior Motorsports and you wanted to push somebody up into the Cup Series with your new charter, he's probably the guy you'd go with, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a solid him or Allgaier.
Yeah, but Allgaier's done it.
Yes, but you need a veteran presence. I think sometimes when you're starting a new team too, which
that's true.
But you can trust Josh Berry. He doesn't.
Yeah, he's not going to go tear your stuff up.
Yeah, he doesn't tear stuff up, and that's why he's a good pick. I actually like the idea of Corey LaJoie for Spire, but that team, in a normal year, Eric, I would have said, yeah, that's a great idea, but that team, coming off another top 20 finish, I don't know if you mess with it right now.
Yeah, they're doing too good right now on their own to lend.
Yeah, I would just let that sit. But if this was last year, if I were Spire, I would have been like, yeah, man, if Corey LaJoie could steal a win, and get your car to the playoffs, That would have been a pretty sick idea. But yeah,
Right.
this year I think you leave it alone because Corey's been having a great season so far.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But which would be really interesting to see what he could do in this car.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see Corey have that support. I mean, he's kind of taken that he's taken that Matt DiBenedetto underdog role now. In the Cup Series, and hey, maybe that's good. Maybe that means good things for Corey LaJoie in the coming years. You know.
Yep.
I'd love to see him get a better chance than what he's got right now, and I think that chance that he's got right now is going to continue to improve too, especially if they keep running the way they are, because good runs bring money.
That's right. Absolutely. That team, you know, you don't celebrate top 20s too often, but when you're that team, I mean, the run that they're on right now, they're doing a great job. Playoff standings, I mean, they're looking pretty good. They're 18th right now. You know, that's really good for them over the last few years. So yeah, it would be a shame to break them up, unfortunately, even though it would be a really cool storyline to follow.
Right. This was the fifth win for William Byron, 183 Cup Series races. Kind of feels like he's won more than that, but only 5. That is a almost 0.3% or almost a 3% winning average, by the way, James, for William Byron.
He's creeping in there. We thought every year, you know, I say it every year, like, okay, it's time, break through. And every time he wins, I get a little, I'm like, okay, here we go. This is it. I don't want to get too excited.
Right.
Because I William Byron's one of the guys I actually do kind of root for. It was tough for me because I like Larson too, so I was like really conflicted on Sunday. But it was nice to see Byron get a win. I really do think very highly of his talent. So every time he gets a win, I kind of feel a little bit more vindicated. Like, I know this guy can do this. I have a lot of faith in his abilities. I really hope that he starts to break through. Plus, Eric, he busted out the big hat in victory lane.
Yeah, I saw that.
We got to get the big hat going again. I love the big hat. That's great.
I will say that William Byron is a great example, I think, of how hard the Cup Series is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Because he was picking them up and laying them down in the lower series.
Yeah.
And he got up here and had, you know, a lot of eyes on him, had one of the best rides in the garage, and he certainly hasn't unimpressed, but he hasn't blown the doors off anybody yet either.
Best of the best, man. It's tight windows in the Cup Series, that's for sure.
Yep, for sure.
Eric, I wanted to ask you one thing before we moved off this race.
Yeah.
I think we probably should mention it now. Ford in a little bit of trouble?
Yeah, it's so early, but yeah, it's not looking great.
I know they got the pole, and then Joey crashed out.
Yeah.
But yeah, when Kevin Harvick is kind of leading the brigade in his farewell season as he approaches 50 years old, and then you've got Austin Cindric kind of somehow sneaking into the top 10 there. Not great. Like Ryan Blaney, not great. He battled for that 13th place finish, and other than that, whole Ford camp was pretty much out to lunch the rest of the day. Chase Briscoe's just not been a factor. Like, the whole Stewart-Haas team is just not good.
Yeah.
So something I think we keep an eye on here the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. It like you said, it's concerning. It's early, so maybe not quite yet. But I mean, it's not like they wrecked out this weekend, you know, other than Joey.
They were just slow. They're just slow.
Yeah.
Very weird.
I mean, to be fair, Joey was up there when he wrecked out.
Yeah, so. And he was battling like around the top 10, you know? It was just like struggling to keep it into the top 10.
I mean, he only led 9 laps.
Yeah.
One time, but I don't know. Yeah, it's certainly something to watch. It's going to be a storyline to watch, especially at this type of track, you know.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see what they can do on the road courses and the short tracks, especially with this new aero package, to see if that's going to have any effect on them, or any of the teams, to see if it makes a new favorite for those types of tracks too, because that could turn things around a little bit for them, at least give them a chance to compete a little bit more.
Yep.
Even if they don't figure their mile and a half stuff out. So.
Yep. Absolutely. Something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, for sure. NASCAR Xfinity Series and Truck Series were both in action this weekend as well. Austin Hill spoils the Kaulig party. Chandler Smith, a little over a lap away from his first NASCAR Xfinity Series win in his third race. And old Austin Hill swept it away.
Yeah, you gotta like it for those RCR guys. They were having a nice little run up through the Xfinity Series race.
Yeah, Austin Hill's really, Austin Hill was not the person that I thought they should put their eggs, the person whose basket they should put their eggs in. And I'll tell you what, he's impressing me, especially this year.
He's a pretty good driver, man.
He is.
He's got, I don't, not to compare him to Noah Gragson, but a breakthrough guy.
Yeah.
He seems to be that guy now. I think he's ready. Almost looks like he's gonna kind of pop here. That was a great last couple of laps of the Xfinity Series race. I mean,
it was.
I know Chandler's car seemed like it was going away on him. It's just really struggling there, but I was kind of pulling for him to get his first win.
Well, and Justin Allgaier was right there too. Another lap, and Allgaier would have been battling for that win.
Yeah, man, that was probably the best finish of the whole weekend. Obviously,
yeah,
it was just fantastic. Xfinity Series has been really good so far this year.
Yeah, they have. That
was
which isn't unusual. I mean, it's a good series.
Yeah, it's nice to see though. We've got Ty Gibbs obviously, and Noah have graduated up, so we've kind of wondered who those next guys are going to be. Man, we'd be in a great place if Austin Hill and Chandler Smith, started to kind of emerge here in the Xfinity Series this season. Those are two really talented young guys.
Well, and John Hunter's going to make some waves there too. 45 laps led.
Yeah,
he
will be good.
He had a good car here too, which is not surprising. Having a good Joe Gibbs racing car.
Yeah, he'll be a problem all year. Yeah, he'll be he will.
Excuse me, sorry.
Yep, no, he will be a problem all year long.
Kyle Busch races for Kaulig, comes back out of retirement in the Xfinity Series, and he was human, James.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he forgot how to race an Xfinity car.
Right,
It's been a while. Yeah.
I mean, human for Kyle is a 4th place finish.
Yep.
Only 4 laps led, though. But he was there. He was there all day. Restart at the end probably would have been a different story. You likely could have had him up there battling for it, but just didn't have the long run speed. Didn't quite have the performance that he's used to in those JGR cars. But it sounded like what they wanted out of Kyle Busch driving that car is what they're getting, and he's going to give them a ton of feedback. And Kaulig went from being, a favorite in the Xfinity Series 2 years ago to last year struggling a bit.
Yeah.
And I think Kyle will come in there and help him out a little bit. He's going to run a few more races for him as well, and they've got other guys coming through that car that are going to help him turn the corner and make Kaulig once again a strong performer in that series.
Yeah, it's just a great team in the Xfinity Series, and Kyle will win a race with them.
Oh yeah,
at some point he's just too good.
Yeah,
eventually it will come, but yeah. It's going to take him a little while. He's got a little rust.
Right.
He's not the driver he once was in the Xfinity Series, so we're just going to have to give him some time, and he'll get it back eventually.
Right. Truck Series is in action as well.
He didn't forget how to do this.
No, he remembered how to do that. Although I will say that his truck, I don't think it was the best truck. I think he had some battles up there. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But led 84 laps, essentially dominated the race. And once he got out front and finally, broke that plane at the front of the field, he was kind of out there for good. Gets another win in the Truck Series. First win for Chevrolet and KBM in the Truck Series. It was his 63rd victory. So continues to set records there in the Truck Series as the winningest driver.
The last time Kyle Busch won in a Chevrolet in the Truck Series was 2007 for Billy Ballou.
That's awesome.
Just for a fun little stat. Remember he drove that Mississippi 51 for a long time.
Yep.
But that's pretty fun. Kyle Busch has got this bookend of his career now, where he's got these Chevy wins and a whole crap ton of Toyota wins in the middle.
Right.
And now he's putting the Chevrolet wins on the other side now. So pretty cool. He's good, man. He's technically back to back if you count the Cup race and the Truck race. It was all KB show.
Yeah. Kind of cool to see some drivers making a name for themselves a little bit more in this series. Zane Smith continues to be good, but Corey Heim ran really well in this one. Christian Eckes was terrific. Carson Hocevar led 19 laps, so finally getting their crap together a little bit there too. All of them finished top 10. Should we talk about Hailie Deegan? Another wreck for Hailie. I mean, It's been the story. It wasn't her fault. She kind of got pinched, but she's the one who lost control.
Yeah.
I mean, is Hailie going to be a bust in this series?
Well,
she's running out of time, right?
yeah, she was starting to run out of time last year.
That's what. Yeah, I think so.
I give her. I hate to say 2 races into the season.
Yeah, I know.
But I will say, she is faster.
Yeah, I agree. And the wreck in Daytona was not her fault. She was just a victim in that one.
If she can keep it out of trouble,
right? Problem is how much trouble can you keep it out of running in that middle of that pack?
I know. I'd like to see her. I think for her, continue to qualify towards the front.
Yeah,
and I think good things will come her way.
Stay above 15th.
Yeah, stay away from the monsters in the back.
Yeah, get away from the hornet's nest.
Yep, exactly.
I still would like to see her get a few opportunities in the Xfinity series, just because I think that driving style is going to suit her a lot better than the truck series. I just don't think she's got the. The problem is when you're, first of all, you're female, and I don't want to make excuses for her, but you're female, you're not going to get any help from anybody. These guys are all going to rough her up as much as they can, and then you're in the middle of that hornet's nest too. It's just not. It's just tough to race there. It's tough for anybody to race there. So,
you mean to tell me that there's guys out there who might be a little jealous,
right?
Haley Deegan a little bit,
right?
Interesting.
Yeah. Her brother's lighting the Supercross world on fire.
He's going to be good. Yeah,
he's fun to watch.
Yeah, looks like he's going to be good. He might be the superstar in the family.
Could be.
Yeah,
could be. Excuse me. I think last week I had COVID and I didn't cough at all on the podcast, and this week I've coughed twice.
Yeah, you're being a little more reckless this week.
It's sneaking up on me before I can hit the mute button. Anything else, James, with Vegas before we put it in the rear view? It wasn't a stellar Vegas weekend, but not terrible.
Good racing, but yeah, we're starting to. It kind of feels like we're in the grind of the season.
Yeah.
Now we're off to the next week. Now it's week to week. Here we go.
Yep.
Is kind of what it feels like after this week. But
yep, time to go learn some stuff at Phoenix, right?
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
See what the end of the season is going to look like, or at least get a glimpse of it.
Yep.
Some news items to discuss. Ross Chastain, James wants to play in the IndyCar Series as well. Said this week that he would like to one day race some IndyCar. Not surprising, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll find a home somewhere. Yeah.
This became a little bit more of a news item than it really probably should be, but anytime one of the Cup drivers expresses interest in another series, it's worth mentioning. Plus, it was the first news item that we had because there was nothing else.
Yeah, it was quiet outside of the Chase Elliott thing that kind of dominated sports.
Yeah,
or the motorsports world for a little bit. Yeah, it was pretty slim pickings until we got to today. So, but I think Ross has got a little Tim Richmond in him, which makes me think that he'd be okay in the IndyCar series. I don't think he'd be. I don't know. It's tough, man, because I think Kyle Larson's going to do really well. I don't know where to put Ross Chastain, but I do know one thing about Ross Chastain. That dude's fearless.
Yeah, he's not scared.
So that's that would bode well for him in the IndyCar series. That's for dang sure.
I don't see this as something that's going to happen in the next few years. I see this as something more of a Jimmy Johnson route that he does what he wants to do in the Cup Series and goes, let's go do some open wheel racing.
And dude, I could see Justin Marks starting an IndyCar team someday down the road. Trackhouse is building an empire.
Oh, for sure.
So, I mean, why wouldn't they build an Indy 500 entry at some point? So, he'll have opportunities.
Yep, I think so.
No doubt.
Speaking of Ross Chastain, Martinsville Speedway is taking about 20 feet of wall out to preserve it. It will be potentially at the NASCAR Hall of Fame for a bit if they can fit it in the building. Of course, we're talking of the turn 3 and 4 wall. I believe it's where it says Martinsville from the infamous wall ride. I think that's cool. Piece of history, right? Got to preserve that.
Yeah, people will like it. People will like it.
I mean, if you go to the Hall of Fame now, they've got the chunk of safer barrier from where what's his face crashed into it at Texas. So McDowell, I can think of his damn name. So yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's cool to see.
Someday if they repave Daytona again, I hope they take the chunk out of, the track that they had to repave after Juan Pablo hit the jet dryer.
Yeah.
And stick that in there too.
There you go.
Because that would be every time they drive over that patch, I think about
right?
that. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Where's that jet dryer at? Let's put that in there.
Oh yeah, well, I think that thing might be disintegrated.
Pretty crispy.
Yeah. There's a cut. That got me thinking. What are some other NASCAR related items that would be really great to put in the Hall of Fame? It's hard, man.
Yeah, a lot of wrecked race cars, but those are all sitting in Dale Jr.'s backyard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good There's a lot of good race cars in Dale Jr.'s backyard.
Yeah, like I wish we could have had the grass from when Dale Earnhardt, spun it out in Daytona, or the pass in the grass, cut a chunk of that out, a little bit of sod.
Well, the greatest thing is if you go, and I can't remember when you went, if you experienced this or not, but if you go to Stewart-Haas Racing, Kurt Busch's Daytona 500 winning car is there.
Yep.
And it has the chunk of grass that he tore up during his celebration.
Yep.
Not only that, if you buy the die cast, which isn't made anymore, but the die cast also has the chunk of sod, which is awesome.
Yep, that was after I had been there.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, but no, when I went there, Kurt Busch's Martinsville win car was there, and it was beat to crap, and it was fantastic. I just love seeing those, right off the track race cars.
Oh yeah, awesome. Me too. Yeah. I'm bummed that I didn't go to Roush Fenway Racing when we were down there, because they've got the car that the 60 car from the ARCA series that flipped down the backstretch of Daytona.
Yep, and I always wonder. So two of my favorite cars I've ever seen in person. Obviously, Tony Stewart's 2011 championship car. It was at the Hall of Fame. That's the one where I reached over the line and actually put my hands on the car. Probably should have got kicked out of the Hall of Fame that day. And then Michael McDowell's Texas crash. I've got to see that car in person.
Oh, really?
Which is now in Dale Jr.'s backyard. But at one time when I was down there, it was at Michael Waltrip Racing.
Oh, that's cool.
And that car was just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, getting to see that car up close was just absolutely ridiculous. That's probably the most famous race car I've ever seen. I mean, how many times has that clip been played?
For years, I wanted to go to Hendrick Motorsports because they had, and I don't know if they still do, they had the Ken Schrader car that he flipped at Talladega.
Oh, yeah.
But
and I think Marks is holding on to the Hale Mellon race car too, so that should go to the Hall of Fame with the wall.
That would be cool.
That would be really cool to see both of them together.
That would be really cool.
I saw the diecast is getting ready to be produced now, so
yeah,
that thing's gonna be coming out pretty soon. That's gonna look sweet.
Yeah, I agree. I wish I'd have pulled the trigger on that one.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. I can't wait to see that one.
One of these days, I'm gonna pull the trigger on one of those pre-orders, but it's so hard to order something a year before it comes out.
That's right. Yeah, it takes
especially
forever.
The quality of some of them have been really bad lately. I don't know.
Yeah, it takes forever, and yeah, that's right. I mean, only a few of them are really special enough to really go. I mean, that Kyle Busch's first win with Auto Club. I mean, that's going to be a great looking race car.
Yeah, you know what? I should.
That might be the one, Eric. That might be the one.
That's a good looking car too. That Lucas Oil scheme.
Yep.
I might have to see if there's still some pre-orders available on that one.
I will get you in trouble with your wife at some point.
Yeah, it's too late eventually. For that. It's already happened. Carson Hocevar is going to run 6 series in the NASCAR Xfinity Series this season for Spire Motorsports. He's going to drive the 77 car. His first race will be at Dover.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, good for the old Michigan boy there.
Yeah, I like how he's kind of going about it. I need to see him perform a little bit more in the Truck Series, but I think he's getting there.
He was so in his own way last year, doing stupid crap.
I know.
It was disappointing last year.
I don't know if people realize this, and maybe I don't know, maybe you and I do because we pay more attention to him. But he's got a good personality.
Yes,
he's got a little quirkiness to him that I think people would really either like or hate, which I think is good either way.
Yeah.
So I think if he can find a way to start breaking through, he'd be a nice personality to have up in the Cup Series here in the next couple of years. We're gonna need more guys like that.
Yeah, he's a good dude for sure.
Yep.
Real fan friendly.
Yes,
extremely
absolutely.
fan friendly
and good online, good on Twitter.
Yeah,
he's good at that stuff.
Yep. I threw this in here, James, because I figured this might be our discussion topic of the week.
Oh my God.
Kyle Petty. Here's Kyle Petty's quote. Ryan Blaney. He said this on the NASCAR NBC podcast, right?
Yes, he did. I heard it before I even read it, and he baffled me twice.
So Ryan Blaney is the new Casey Kane. Potential unfulfilled. Everybody wants to talk about what he can do, but he never does anything. First, here's what I have to say about it.
What the f*** has Kyle Petty got to do with this?
That's one.
But the thing is, James, is he's not wrong.
Yeah.
And it's disappointing because I'm a big Ryan Blaney fan. I want to see Ryan Blaney do well. Yeah. But it's it was easy when Ryan Blaney was in the 21 car to go well, yeah, but it's Wood Brothers. Wait till he gets to the Penske car.
Yeah.
And he's there when he needs to be, and that's it.
Yep. Yeah, Casey. My only rebuttal to this would be
Casey had a good career. I mean,
well, Casey came in like a bat out of hell.
Yeah.
And won early in his rookie year, and then won early in his second year. And then his third season, he ripped off that 6-win season, and it was like, oh man, the next Jeff Gordon. Ryan Blaney's never been compared to Jeff Gordon.
Right.
I don't think that's very fair. I don't think that's fair.
No.
And
there also, I mean, don't get me wrong. There is a significant, heavy helping of irony to have Kyle Petty saying this.
Oh yeah. Don't think we didn't notice.
8 wins. 8-win Kyle Petty.
Yeah.
One season that really had any potential whatsoever.
Yeah. He has one more career win than Ryan Blaney, and I think about 20 more seasons worth of driving.
Yeah,
too.
1979 to 2008.
Yeah. Ryan, this is tough for me, man. Casey was never a legit contender for a title other than, even 2012, he wasn't even really there. But Ryan's been like fringe contender. Like Ryan's already got as many top 10 points finishes as Casey ever had.
Yeah, Casey was more of the older system though, not the old system.
But Casey has, I'm looking at it right now, he has 3 career top 10 points finishes in 15 seasons. 3 out of 15. Ryan Blaney's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far. 5 out of 10. So you're looking at the batting average, not the same. That's just I don't agree with Kyle at all. Ryan's coming in a little different than Casey did. I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with him as far as that he hasn't lived up to the potential. That's probably the biggest thing for me. Honestly, who I would compare Ryan Blaney to more than Casey Kane is probably like a Jamie McMurray.
But even then I don't know, man. I know Jamie won some big races, but this is tough because I know he's had 1 win a season for a while. Last year he gave a win away at the end. I probably should have won another one, but yeah, I don't think that's a square peg in a round hole for me. I don't know.
Ryan Blaney in 2001 had his only multi-win season. It was 3 wins in the season.
Yes.
He won.
He fumbled the playoffs that team fumbled the playoffs that year.
He won the 4 years prior, so he won 5 years in a row. He got at least one win.
Yeah.
If I look at Jamie McMurray, Jamie spread out his wins more. He also had a 3-win season in 2010. That was his only multi-win season. He won in 2002, 2007, 2009, 2010, 2013. So his career is Ryan Blaney spread out.
Yeah.
But then again, Jamie McMurray has 7 wins and he's done. And Ryan Blaney has 7 wins and likely has, probably 2/3 of his career left.
I mean, if Ryan Blaney rattles off, god dang, this is because he could have won 2 Daytona 500s already too, which is
the biggest problem is we're sitting here comparing a guy to 2 guys that are retired.
I know,
and you
he's
can't
too young.
do that. Yeah, it's too early to do this for Ryan Blaney, but I do agree that he has not lived up to the potential that is there. And I think that honestly, and I've said this before on this podcast, the reason is that Blaney's not dirty enough. He's not willing to put the elbows up and really rough somebody up for a win. He's Mark Martin in a Ross Chastain world.
Yeah, he's got some. He's like a poor man's Denny Hamlin. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Like he's not Denny Hamlin, but he's not terrible. Like, Denny was a fringe championship contender for a long time. I feel like Ryan Blaney's like a fringe top 5 contender.
Yeah, and I would argue that Denny's done some stupid stuff in his career, but for the most part, Denny's been too clean too.
Yeah,
he gets roughed up.
And like in clutch situations, his teams falter. And Ryan Blaney's had the same problem in the playoffs. Like his clutch situations, the team will start to fumble a little bit. That being said, Denny Hamlin's about to win 50 races in this sport.
Yeah, and Denny Hamlin's also a first ballot Hall of Famer.
So if Ryan Blaney is a poor man's Denny Hamlin, that puts him around 30 wins.
Pretty
by
good.
the time he's done. Yeah, I mean that's pretty darn good. That's you're getting into guys with 30 wins on their you're passing Dale Jr. and you're passing Carl Edwards, and you're passing, a lot of guys who are going to be in the Hall of Fame or right around the Hall of Fame. So
Freaking Kyle Petty.
what does Kyle Petty have to do with it?
Just got to
So
come in here and
he just
stir
comes in
crap up.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, that's what he does.
I'll tell you what. I mean, he's more successful than he was as a driver. So
It was a good podcast. It was a good podcast.
The one thing I will give you is that Kyle will not back down from his opinions, as wrong as they may be. And he stirs the pot, which is what you want in that role. So.
And the Petties, all of those Petties, they carry themselves at a different level.
Yeah.
Because of their name.
Yeah.
So
some of them deserve it, some of them don't.
Even the King, when he came into the Daytona 500 and blew everything up, I thought that was freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
And he had, just because. It's just because. And that's what Kyle does. He does the same thing his dad does.
I used to detest Kyle Petty for these reasons, but now I love Kyle Petty for this reason. Because people like... he bothers me too, just like Jimmy Spencer used to, but Jimmy Spencer was good for the sport. He was a great analyst because he would come in and say things that nobody wanted to say. He wasn't afraid to say it. Most of the time he was wrong, but it was entertaining and got people talking. So
well, Herm is that for me.
Yeah.
Herm drives me nuts.
Yeah, I know. Have you been watching the Kenny Wallace show on YouTube?
I saw the Kenny Wallace show this week.
I've watched a few episodes.
He was heaping praise on Danica.
Oh God, yeah, that's why I watched this week, is I wanted to hear what he was going to say about her. And he praised her. See, I left her right out of the notes, James, because I didn't want.
No, I shouldn't have even brought her up. Let's not go there.
I didn't want to get into it because I've expressed my opinion on Danica in the booth, and it's nothing against Danica because I really do respect and like Danica Patrick.
Hall of Famer.
I called for her to win a race. I wanted to see her win, but in the broadcast booth, she's not good. Sorry, guys, she's just not good.
She's not good.
So here's a hot take for you, seeing as we're talking about broadcast booth, James. I know I told you before the podcast, don't stretch this out any longer than it has to.
That's you. That's
and
your
I'm
fault.
doing it now.
Yep.
Here's a hot take for you. Here's a Kyle Petty hot take for me.
Oh no.
Kevin Harvick's going to suck in the booth.
I don't know about that.
You know why? He's too reserved. Who calmed Kevin Harvick down? He's so quiet next to Clint Boyer.
We'll see.
I don't know. I hope. I mean, I'm glad that he's not cheesing it up like Boyer does, because we don't need any more of that on Fox. But I don't know that he's going to be that entertaining. He's not very fired up as an analyst.
I just want smart stuff.
You're going to get that from him for sure.
He'll be smart, so
Yeah.
I don't care if he's
The problem that I have with Harvick is I almost feel like Harvick shouldn't be in an analyst role. I feel like Harvick should be in the play-by-play role.
Right.
And maybe that's what they're looking at. Maybe Harvick's Mike Joy's replacement when Mike Joy retires.
Maybe. Yep.
Could be. I could get behind that 100%.
Yeah, you got to groom somebody to take the seat, and Boyer sure as heck ain't going to be the one to do it.
I mean, I'd like to see Dale Jr. in that role in the Cup Series, but for a whole different reason.
Yeah.
With NBC, because I like Dale Jr. because it feels like it's me watching the race. But anyway,
Yep.
we've had this discussion a million times, so we can move on. But I just wanted to bring that up. I thought about that during the race this weekend, and I'm like, with him doing the Xfinity race, it was good, but he's a little too good at it. That's why Junior was good, because Junior wasn't good at it, and that's what we like about it.
Exactly.
Anyway, let's talk picks, James. You did pretty well this week compared to me.
I did. Thank you.
Your Alex Bowman pick was much better than my Kyle Busch pick.
I felt pretty good about Bowman.
46 to 25. You're leading 85 to 58, which means I get the first pick this week, and I'm kind of doing a throwaway pick this week.
Oh.
Because I
don't know what to do here. So
yeah, anybody good that I have, I don't want to waste on Phoenix, especially with the new aero package and all that stuff. So I kind of looked, and I'm going with somebody who ran decent here last year. They didn't finish in the top 10 or top 5 either race last year, but they were toward the front half of the field overall. And I'm just going to take Eric Almirola and get him off my board, because I'm not afraid to lose him off my board. So
all right, that's a good one.
And I remember how well he did at New Hampshire. I feel like this track's similar to New Hampshire in a way. Maybe that will bode well for me this weekend. So
it's the dang rules that I don't know what to do with.
Yeah, that's with me too. I don't know what to do with that, and we just don't have enough data for these types of tracks. Like we got data for mile and a halves. We don't have any data for these types of tracks.
So I was gonna. I mean, it's right there for me. Take Chase Briscoe.
Yeah,
right?
I know. I almost went that way too, but
I don't know what to do
not
with the
good
rules
this year.
So that being said, okay, so the rules are what they are. The track ain't changing. The rules are changing. You know who's been good here no matter what the rules are?
Harvick?
And I feel like now is the time to take it. So I will burn my Harvick pick right now.
You take him and leave him for me at Michigan, because that is what I wanted.
That's totally fine. But I feel like
you can pencil him in for Michigan for me right now.
I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to pick him again.
Yeah.
With the way the Fords are running, so let me. I tried to.
You're going to get points on me this week. That's going to be a good pick.
I've been very reserved so far. I feel like.
Yeah. Which is hilarious because I've been swinging for the fences and sucking.
So I just think this is maybe my best play to use Kevin Harvick, where he's running pretty decent, and I don't know what the Fords are going to do anywhere else this year. So let me get him while I think I can steal some.
Yeah, that's a good point. I seriously am hanging on to him for Michigan, but you're right. With the way the Fords are, maybe they aren't going to be good at Michigan. So.
Perhaps.
But the thing is every time the Fords aren't good at 1.5-mile tracks, they come to Michigan and they win.
And you've got to remember too, you've got Richmond coming up. So like,
that too, yeah.
if you don't like what you see, anywhere else, but you like what you see at Phoenix, you've got Richmond to kind of lean on a little bit too.
That's true.
So that's another option. Not to give you any advice.
Yeah. No, I was looking through the list and it's like, I didn't want to burn a top guy here with so much uncertainty, but I didn't want to go. I don't want to go too deep in my picks either.
Exactly.
Because you're going to pick somebody good and you're going to keep pulling away.
Right. It's tough. It's tough picking first.
Yeah. Yeah. Oops, I put those in the wrong spot.
Speaking of first, how's that?
We can talk about fantasy this week. I'm all in on fantasy.
Eric, when's the last time you got the dub?
It's been a while.
Been a long time.
Well before the playoffs last year.
Congratulations. You won at Las Vegas. You beat Green Eggs and Hamlin, our buddy Taylor, who was on with us a couple weeks ago, and Toyota Fan 60. I
was pretty happy because I checked in about halfway through the final stage, and I was running about 4th or 5th. I'm like, yeah, that's going to be a good day. And then when Hendrick did 1, 2, 3 at the end, I'm like, ooh, man, I bet you I did really well. And I went in and checked it out, and I had the win. Here's a little tidbit though for you. I made my picks on Friday morning. Yeah. And I just picked based on last season and kind of just who I knew was going to be strong there. And then on Saturday, I'm like, oh crap, I think I picked Chase Elliott.
Yeah.
So I went and pulled him out of there because I had Chase originally.
Yeah, I had him in the one-on-one picks, and I had to swap him out. Or no, I didn't have him. I felt like I was like, ooh, hopefully they don't change him out of there, but they swapped him out. So Eric, with that win, you are also first in points.
Whoa, I didn't know that. I didn't look at that.
Yeah. Well, second is Barron Speedway, and third is Cole Custer's Last Stand.
Hold on. Before we talk about where did you finish last week, James?
Oh, I did not do well.
What's going on with you this year?
Auto Club, I was really bad. So I had Joey Logano, and I was going to swap him out for Blaney, but I'm like, no, Joey seems like he's going to be the guy. And then, of course, right at the start of stage 3, he wrecked out. So I ended up 12th.
That's rough for you.
Not a good day. Well, I mean,
2 bad weeks in a row.
I know. Well, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Overall standings, you're first, Barron, Cole Custer, and I am all the way 16th. So I am. Whew.
Well, the positive for everybody is that they know, based on my past performance, that I will be going backwards. Everybody, it's looking up for everybody right now.
You are 200 points ahead of me, exactly, right?
That's
at
crazy.
This very moment. 3 races in. So it's not been very good for me.
Should we take bets on how many races it takes for you to gain those 200 points back?
Yeah, I don't like being in this big of a hole this early in the season. Yeah. However, Ranger's not that far behind you either. He's from 4th, so that's the one I'm keeping my eye on. But yeah, I'm having a rough go of it to start the season. That's okay. It's, it is what it is. I've had just some horrible luck on some crashes. So hopefully I can get a clean race here at Phoenix and get out of there alive, I guess.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm actually enjoying the fantasy more than I'm enjoying our picks this year because I don't.
Well, there you go. I know.
I actually don't like how the picks are working because I don't know, because I'm losing, I guess, probably.
Yeah, you'll catch up to me. I usually lead the picks at some point, and it ends up bad for
There's just not a good enough sample size. Like, when you only have one driver, when your one driver does bad, then...
I know.
It was more fun last year with 3, but then I had to research both the Xfinity and the Truck Series, and God, that was a pain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Of course, that's where I got my points on you, were those 2 series. But...
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Which explains why I'm doing poorly right now, so... Any shout-outs this week, James?
We didn't mention him. He'll never hear this, but shout out Justin Haley, top 10.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that. I was looking at I'm like, "Ooh, that's a good place to put my shout out." Because I didn't I was like, "Dang, he's pretty good." That was a good day.
That's a good one. I don't have one, so I'll shout out Josh Berry once more, getting the opportunity in the Cup Series. Of course he had the opportunity with Spire a couple years ago, but anytime you get the call at Hendrick as the fill-in guy, I mean, look at Alex Bowman. He's made a career out of being that fill-in guy. Now he's got himself a ride in a multi-year deal, and
Alex Bowman, man.
So yeah, good on Josh Berry. It's cool to see somebody. If you look at the sport and you look at the grassroots guys, we don't get a lot of them anymore. And Josh is one of those that he came up because of talent, not because of sponsorship. And yeah, he had Dale Jr. behind him, which certainly helped. But it's cool to see him getting the opportunity. So good for him.
I also wanted to shout out Chase Elliott's first tweet after he said his request for the script change was declined. So that was really good timing.
I saw a lot of people saying they wish they'd see more out of Chase.
Yeah, I was wondering if maybe we'll see a little bit more Chase Elliott. If he's allowed to, I'd love to see him use his voice a little bit more here in the next few weeks. I know he's going to be busy healing up, but let's I'm sure his sponsors would like to see him tapped in.
Hey, fly him out and put him in the booth.
There you go. Yeah, prop him up.
Yeah, stick him in the studio in Charlotte. Have him phone in.
Yep. Yeah. It's going to be weird without him out there. It was weird. Yeah. I mean, we've had guys get injured over the years. Not since Dale Jr. I don't think it's just strange that the guy who everybody knows is out. So
yeah,
but it'll be okay. He'll be fine. He'll come back soon.
Well, on that note, I'll give my black flag to skiing and snowboarding in general. My brother-in-law just had surgery recently too for screwing up his leg. I can't remember if he was skiing or snowboarding, but I think he was skiing. So yeah, that's just another reason why I don't get on those things, man.
Yeah. My feet are good on the ground. They're good on the ground. I don't want to climb. I don't want to boat. I will run and I will ride a bike, and that's probably about it anymore. I ain't got much left in me. I don't even play basketball anymore because I'm too afraid I'm gonna blow my Achilles out of my leg. So
how about a big black flag for all those people too that think that NASCAR is not going to give Chase a waiver?
Oh, it's so stupid. Let's not even talk about it.
Any black flags for you, James?
Oh, do I got a good one?
Oh, okay. I'm excited.
This is going to rile people up.
Oh, nice.
So a Twitter egg named John Haverlin.
Familiar with his name.
Yeah, he posted that Ty Gibbs has the He Gets Us sponsorship on his car. Unsure how I feel about this. I appreciate that the organization wants to better Jesus' image of years of damage done by his followers. I also feel that this company could use its money on people instead of NASCAR cars. Just my, all caps, opinion. I got an opinion for you, John.
I love your take on this.
So could every sponsor in the field. Black flag, man. Who cares? I don't care who sponsors a race car.
Are we really criticizing an organization for sponsoring a race car?
I will say I did criticize Barstool pretty hard.
That's true.
So I guess I'm on the
those guys are a bunch of punks. I don't know. I can't say anything. I actually kind of like
nonetheless, if this organization has the money to sponsor a race car, we can't stop them.
No.
I don't know where you stand on it. I don't particularly care.
Yeah.
But yet you don't think FedEx could be helping people with the money they spend on a race car?
Right.
It's the same.
This isn't about. It's about a belief versus.
That being said, this organization does seem a tad bit fraudulent, but nonetheless, I don't care.
Right.
It's like
I don't DC Solar.
Yeah, I don't like the opinion that help people. Well,
right.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, Barstool could help people instead of sponsoring the 95 or the 14.
I really appreciate your take on this because Am
I the only one?
It didn't even click with me, James, until you said it. And I'm like, holy crap, you're so right.
Yeah.
You're so right.
I don't understand it.
But the whole deal is because it's Jesus. It's Jesus and it's Joe Gibbs and it's Ty Gibbs. And get off this kid over this stuff. Get off of him over this stuff. You can hate him for being a crappy driver. You can hate him for being a dirty driver, but you don't hate him because he praise. Come on.
You know what? If you want to criticize the sponsor, come with a better argument.
Yeah.
Spend the money on people.
Well, and if you want to hate Ty Gibbs, there's plenty of reasons for that too. But this is a dumb one.
Jesus, I mean, it's not like Mr. Haverland was, volunteering at his local food bank during the NASCAR race. You're out there covering the race, bud. I don't, are you helping people by covering the race? I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I like it.
He sure did help me get fired up. I'll tell you that.
Well, good.
Oh, God,
James, if Mr. Haverland wants to reach out to you on social media, how can he do that?
You just go to the tweet I retweeted and follow me there, James Cush on Twitter.
You can find me on Twitter at T Super Speedway. Sorry, on Twitter. Facebook, our podcast is there as well. Facebook.com/The Super Speedway. Our website is www.thesuperspeedway.com. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and Anchor. We hope wherever you found us today, you subscribe and continue to listen to us each and every week. If you go to anchor.fm/The Super Speedway, you can leave us an audio message and we may play it on the show. James, we head to Phoenix Raceway this weekend. I believe ARCA's in action this weekend. At least one of the ARCA series is in action this weekend. I don't know. Xfinity Truck, are they in action? I don't know.
Everybody, yeah. Cup Series is in action. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters. We'll be back next week to break it all down, talk about who won and who didn't, and any interesting news storylines of the week. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.
What the f*** has Kyle Petty got to do with this?